favor of Asia Muhammad and Demi Schurz, concluding Danilina's tournament. And lastly, the D1 radio podcast conducted an all-quarter century team draft on Wednesday night. We're talking baseball. 4 Florida Gators were part of that draft. Brady Singer, Matt Laporta, Wyatt Langford, and of course, Jack Caglione, selected among the best Division I ball players in the past 25 years. Singer, Langford, and Caglione are in the show. Singer's with the Reds, Langford's with the Rangers, Jack is with the Royals. Laporta spent some time with Milwaukee and Cleveland during his playing days. He, of course, retired back in 2015. So that's your Gator news. Week 3 of high school football. Want to mention that it kicks off tonight. A few games that are of note in the area. The game of the week, we had Matthew Mantalto, who is our high school football guru around here at the College of Journalism and Communications at UF, and he gave me the list. The game of the week for them this week is right here in Gainesville. 2 cross-city rivals battling for bragging rights early in the season. Buchholz hosts East Side. The Rams have not beaten the Bobcats since 2012 and look to go 3-0 for the first time in over 2 decades. It's going to be a good one. Kickoff is set at Citizens Field for 7:30. In Alachua County, Ocala Vanguard travels to Newberry. Both teams are 1-1 on the year and looking for some momentum. Look out for Vanguard's Terrence Lewis. In his last game, he had more than 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. That game also a 7:30 start. Also in Alachua County, Hawthorne hosts Florida State University School from Tallahassee. One person to keep an eye on for Hawthorne is sophomore quarterback Richard Roundtree Jr. He's coming off a 300-yard game with 3 tutties against rival Newberry. Kickoff from Hawthorne is at 7. And let's go to Marion County. North Marion hosts Fort White. Both teams go into this game 1-1 and are both coming off wins. They look to continue their winning ways. Kickoff is at 7:30 in Citra. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here on This Week in Gator Sports as we wrap up some of that local sporting news, Gator-centric, little high school football. When we come back, Hunter DeLauder is milling about. He's going to help us set up this week's game against USF and discuss where the Gators might face some significant challenges. We're back after the break.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Abigail Dressback. Tonight, the Gators soccer team takes on the FGCU Eagles at home. The Gators have a current record of 3 wins and 2 losses and are looking to add another win tonight at 7 p.m. This Saturday, Gator football faces off against USF in the Swamp. Billy Napier commented on the Bulls quarterback Byron Brown.
I do think this quarterback runs the ball well. I think there's a little bit more read game, a little more quarterback run element to it, but still vertical, still tempo, still perimeter screen, and then a good healthy run game. When you got a light box, you got to be able to handle that. So
Brown had 210 yards passing and an additional 43 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Fans are anticipating that this in-state matchup will be one to watch as both teams are coming in hot off good wins last week.
Hi, this is Dr. Art Mowry of Exceptional Dentistry. Listen to what our clients have to say about their experience at Exceptional Dentistry.
I think that because I like Dr. Gallup so much, I knew I needed to come to the dentist and I trusted him and felt really safe, and so I was like, okay, I need to finally go and get here. Dr. Gallup is very nice, he's very calm and very capable. You can tell he's intelligent and he has a good plan and always follows through. He seems very confident in his ability, and then having him do 3 fillings, I didn't feel anything, which was amazing. I was pretty anxious about the fact that I had not taken care of my dental health for a long time, and now knowing I have somewhere to go if anything ever were to go wrong is a really good feeling.
This is Dr. Kim Mowry, and if you think you have dental problems that are too big to overcome, we're here for you. Please visit us at exceptionaldentistry.com. That's exceptionaldentistry.com.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I ended up going to a dentist, and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brooks Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to brooksnightguard.com and enter the code Brooks95. That's BRUX95.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard.
What was it like the first time you caught balls from DJ Lagway? You ran some routes for him. What was that like? What did you notice?
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. Great quarterback. He's got a lot of great leadership tools. And being able to go out when I first got here and catch the ball from him, it was great. And being able to continue to build timing and chemistry with him on and off the field has been nothing but a blessing.
As we start looking back at the LIU game, how important when you have teams that kind of play really deep in the secondary to take what the defense gives you because you can eventually get yours and not try to force things? How important is that to a game plan?
Yeah, you got to take a game play by play. You can't think about the last play or think about the next play. You got to be where your feet are every time. So that's something that we take with everything that we do, is being exactly where your feet are at. And you can't focus on trying to get yours or trying to make something up. You just got to be able to be where your feet are and make the play when your name's called.
J. Michael Sturtevant is our guest this afternoon. How deep and how much competition is in this wide receiver room amongst you guys?
This receiver room is great, man, from top to bottom. You know, we push each other every day in practice, and we all love each other. So it's great to have a brotherhood like that in the room. And Billy G is a great guy. You know, Billy G, Coach Deck, and Coach Luke, they've been amazing for all of us this offseason. And it's just a blessing to come into this building every day and be able to be around those guys.
When you look at USF on D and you watch the tape, what do you see?
USF, they're a solid team. They got good corners, good secondary, good defense. They're going to be humming around the ball. They're going to be playing fast. So this is going to be a very exciting game to come in and play.
When you look at USF as well, I'm not saying anyone was overlooking them, but I'm sure you guys last Thursday when they took on Boise State, when you had some time to sit down, you probably put the game on. How much did they get your attention with what they did to Boise State?
They had a great game versus Boise State, so shout out to them. This is going to be a very fun game to play. I'm looking forward to it like I'm looking forward to every game on the schedule. We're going to continue to prepare each week the same and look to put our best foot forward each and every week.
J. Michael, appreciate your time. Come away healthy.
Thank you. Go Gators.
Kevin Witter, the always fun Kevin Witter, having a discussion with wide receiver J. Michael Sturtevant. You can hear the full interview coming up on Saturday during the pregame show, which begins at 1 p.m. right here on WRUF. All right, let's talk some ball. Welcoming WRUF.com Gators football beat reporter Hunter DeLauder to help us set up this week's game. How we doing this week, Hunter?
I'm good. How you doing, Jeremy?
I mean, that was a great game this past week, right?
Yeah.
Feeling good after watching them blank LIU 55-0?
Yeah, they scored a little bit more than I predicted, but hey, I said they weren't going to get into the end zone, so
I said the Gators are going to win 52-3, so I got the point total right.
Yes,
but I didn't get the exact score. I knew they'd put up the 50 burger.
How about I think we briefly mentioned at the end how they would score first, and we were joking around with the defensive touchdown, and
that's right.
It happened to just be that.
That's right, exactly. Okay, so is there anything that you can really take away from a game like that you know, you come out of the gates, you come flying out of the traps, you got the win that was expected. What is there that you can take from that game and carry forward to this week versus USF?
I think the biggest thing you can take is the depth that you got to work in, because that was obviously a big question, because you knew that kind of how I thought the game would go. Most of the starters were out of the game by halftime. So, you know, you got to see Tramel Jones, who nobody really anticipated getting that QB2 spot.
Yeah.
He played the whole second half, and then Napier said halftime, after the game, he's the guy. He earned that right. So that was a shock to everybody. And then, you know, you just got to see some of the depth guys, you know, in the back end defensively getting work in, and then, you know, obviously the whole team around. And then, you know, for the whole game, freshman Vernell Brown, the third, obviously he goes off and makes
we saw that catch a few times.
You know, Nashawn Montgomery also got some playing time. So, and then, you know, How about Anthony Rubio got some work in at the end? Taylor Spirito got his first career touchdown. He's been here for 5 years, finally got in the end zone. So it's good to see all around, but I think just depth-wise, I think getting those guys in because he treated it like a preseason game, essentially.
And full shout-out to Michael Tubbs, one of our analysts who was on Gator Game Day. He mentioned, Tramel Jones and the fact that he was really looking forward to seeing him, kind of nailed it in terms of that. And also Vernell Brown, talked about Vernell Brown.
Yep.
And, we saw that catch number 1 on ESPN Sports Center. Certainly a catch of the year right out of the gate. You'd love to see that, especially in the swamp here in Gainesville. All right, so let's talk about this USF game this weekend. Obviously, that game against Boise State last week, I looked at the line before the game. It was 5.5 for the Broncos, and then USF goes out and wallops them 34-7. That changes things in terms of what you were maybe expecting from this opponent. So when you look at the matchup this week, what are the biggest keys for Florida?
I think, obviously, it starts with containing Byron Brown, the USF quarterback. I mean, he's all of 6'3", 230 pounds. Woo. I mean, he runs downhill like a Mack truck. I mean, he's like a train. He's like a train on the tracks. You just get out of the way usually when he's running. So it's the off-scripted plays. It's kind of similar to how Anthony Richardson was, how teams kind of treated him, where it's what happens when he gets out of the pocket and then he starts creating his own type of plays. I think making sure you're swarming as a pack to the ball, containing him the best you can, and then they have some pretty good receivers on the outside. They had Tennessee transfer Chaz Nimrod who came in, and then you have Kayshawn Singleton, who's like their big play receiver. I mean, the secondary didn't really get a whole lot of work in. Bryce Thornton kind of joked around this week about how the defensive line did all the work this week, so we didn't really do much. So now they're going to get a chance to do some stuff because they're going to have some receivers they're going to have to contend with. And Byron Brown, who Billy Napier treated, he compared him to Hendon Hooker. That 2022 Hendon Hooker, who, I mean, he 27 touchdown, 2 interception season that year. So I mean, that's a pretty good comparison. I mean, Brown can throw the ball down the field, he can run it. I think that starts there, and then I think defensively, USF, they're not going to be the biggest, the baddest boys on the block, but they've created 3 turnovers, all fumbles. So I rewatched the game, big hits too that were doing it. So, I think running the ball is going to start there. I think USF had trouble stopping the run a little bit last week, and then just playing sound football and not losing the turnover battle is going to be one of the bigger things.
And Billy talked about that this week. He did lament the fact that they put the ball on the ground. That's something that they've worked on in terms of their discipline. There was, of course, some chatter about the fact, hey, they didn't take a penalty.
Yeah.
Right? And so there was chatter about that. But he said, yeah, okay, that's great. We've talked about discipline and whatnot in the offseason, but also ball security, putting the ball on the ground. We want to make sure that we're making sure we're not doing that on a regular basis. And one of the interesting notes about this game that I found when I was kind of just looking through some things is that the last time that Florida started a season 2-0, USF was the second opponent that they beat.
There you go.
And it was under Dan Mullen. Billy Napier has never started 2-0 with the Gators. And they have a 3-0 record against USF. So, I mean, here we are. We're going back to 2022, I think was the last time they met each other.
Yes.
So we're looking at possibly a 2-0 start with USF coming to town again, maybe going to a 4-0 record. So when you look at what we saw last game, one of the concerns was the TFLs. Florida had a dozen. We gave up a dozen.
11 or 12 it was.
That was something that kind of pops off the page a little bit. So when you look at that statistic, when you consider that and the threats that USF can pose here, what do you make of that?
I mean, it certainly can be a red flag because, you shouldn't be having that with Long Island. I mean, that with how much experience you had coming back on the O-line, I mean, that really can't happen. And then, obviously, the first play of the game was a sack that Long Island got home, and obviously it doesn't matter, but, they were getting pressure right there, and now you get a better defensive line coming into town. I mean, I think that can be an issue. Obviously, you want to hope that the offensive line recognizes that. Roger Kearney spoke about it a little bit yesterday, how they've seen what they need to do. They're going to get better, and hopefully it shows on Saturday.
Well, and Billy said they were fired up. That last week, going into the LIU game, he had said that practice had kind of started strong and then kind of started to wane over the course of the week. He wasn't happy with the energy, but he says this week it was kind of the opposite, that it kind of started slow and they went through what they needed to go through, and now the guys are ready. And the headline up on WRF.com, we're foaming out the mouth.
Yeah, Eugene Wilson. I mean, that was he said that with like a half-hearted smile too. Like they certainly were asked early on in the week, like, hey, do they have your attention now? And Billy Napier and all the players have spoke, like, yeah, like what Boise State or how bad Boise State lost to from USF. I mean, that's not just some off game. Like USF is a very good non-Power 5 team, and they will certainly expose Florida if Florida leaves them the opportunity to do so.
What's the biggest question for Florida going into this game?
Can DJ Lagway, I think, officially kind of shake off some of the rust? I would say he wasn't happy with his performance Saturday night. Obviously, he only played a half. He threw for 120 yards, still threw for 3 touchdowns. Yeah. But, I mean, there was
38-0 lead at halftime is nothing to shake on.
No. I mean, but he still, there were some throws he missed. And, even the Vernell Brown play. I mean, that was a great play. But, I mean, he was on the run a little bit, and he threw that. I mean, Vernell Brown just happened to kind of become a center fielder at that point and just made a great play because, I mean, that wasn't the best throw in the world either. So, I mean, it kind of reminded me of the Carson Beck play the day after for Miami with C.J. Daniels. So, I think can he just now get the rust off? But also, no, again, this is a much better defense they're going to be playing. I mean, they have some decent guys in that back end for USF. So, I mean, if Lagway had issues last year about turning the ball over a little bit too much, is that going to be an issue now going up against these better defenses?
How important is this game in terms of a measuring stick when you have Death Valley coming up next?
It's huge. I mean, it's a must-win this weekend. They have got to win this game.
Do they have to win, or do they have to win big? Like, what do you need to see from them this week to give you confidence as they go to LSU?
Well, they're 19-point favorites, so, I mean, if that's any indicator. But I think a win winning would probably be at the top of my list. I don't really think they care about how much they win by. I think that as long as it's not super convincing, but, like, you just don't want to get them caught into a look-ahead spot. And right. I think that's been asked about this week, about a trap game, quote unquote, because you have a season-defining road trip next 2 weeks, so it's hard not to say that. But again, I think for this week, just do the best you can and just get a win, I think, is going to be the ultimate goal here.
Does Florida cover that spread?
I don't think so. I think it's way too big. I would lean somewhere in between, like, 2.5 scores, like a 14
to 17.
Yeah,
that's more of what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
a lot. I mean, you're pushing. I mean, you're basically. I mean, you're basically counting on a 3-touchdown lead and hoping for not a backdoor cover right there.
Yeah, I don't know. 12 is the number that jumps out to me.
Yeah,
that's just a feeling.
I think
it's not anything.
Early...
I'm not throwing anything out there. I'm just saying that for me, when I look at it, when I watched how USF played last week, when I watched how Florida played last week, it just struck me as like a 10 to 12.
I think early on you're going to see kind of how this game's going to go. Yeah. If Florida has no answers for Byron Brown and they just go on these long sustaining drives where they're eating up 5, 6, 7 minutes and they're going down, even if it's just field goals, like they mix in a touchdown or two here and there, and all of a sudden now you're in a ball game late in the fourth quarter. And listen, USF did this last year. They went to Bama. It was a tie game going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
I mean, it was a 1-score game with less than 10 minutes left. So, and again, USF has shown they've done this with Bama 2 years in a row. They did it with Boise State, and they will certainly do it again. Last time they were here in the Swamp, they had a fourth-quarter lead. I mean, it was a late touchdown from Florida that got them the win, and they held on for dear life at the end. So, they will certainly drag them into the mud deep into the fourth quarter if they want to.
Not overawed by the occasion, right? Which is something that, with LIU, it's your first time in a place like the Swamp. You're going to be overawed by that, but USF, not going to be overawed.
And I think it starts with Alex Golich as the guy because he comes from the Tennessee tree with Josh Heupel. So, he's been in these environments before, and I think that does help out a little bit where, if you're a player and you see that your coach is relaxed and he's calm and he's not panicking, it seems that goes big. That goes a long way because now as a player I can be like, okay, if he's confident, I'm going to be confident, so I don't have anything to worry about.
Injury updates: we didn't get Caleb Banks, we didn't get Dallas Wilson, we didn't get Aiden Mizell last week.
Wilson is probably unlikely to play this week. Okay. Caleb Banks is working his way back. There was no confirmation that he will play this week, but I would not anticipate him not.
All right. The new AP poll dropped, of course, on Tuesday. The schedule only gets tougher for Florida. They now face 8 top 25 teams. I mean, we're talking about going into the season, toughest schedule in all college football. Didn't get any easier.
No. You just add in Florida State now.
But it's a good resume.
It's not too bad. Listen, but again.
Hey, look, if you can beat those teams, you're in the playoff.
Yeah.
You're in the playoff. CBS Sports has them in the playoff.
Yeah. I think Florida would be like the one exception, depending on who they lose to and also who they win, where a 9-3 record would probably get them in. Now, again, you have to factor in all the other teams that are playing around them, but with that kind of schedule, if you're gonna with a 9-3 record, I mean, you're gonna have ranked wins. It's just about, I think, depends on who it happens to become against. So, it's certainly possible.
It's
a gauntlet for sure. And again, this is why this game right here matters so much. And USF is like 33rd in the AP ranking, so like they're right there, just outside the top 25. So, but again, it's a must-win this week with what you have coming up. With the next 4 games after this, you have LSU at Miami. And then you come home, or like, okay, that's nice. But then you have Texas coming in, and then you got to go back on the road for Texas A&M. Yeah. I mean, that's just brutal. And so this is why it makes this game so much bigger.
You just wonder if Texas will still be in the top 10 at that point based on what we saw.
Yeah.
No, they played good against Ohio State.
No.
Ohio State, they're the national champions.
Texas,
they played like the national champions.
If you told Texas they hold Ohio State to 14 points at home, you'd be a happy camper, I'd say.
All right, let's finish off with some big takeaways here. Biggest takeaway from week 1, and what is the game? We're talking big picture. Biggest takeaway from week 1, and what kind of game are you watching for this week?
I think from last week, I mean, it's hard not to just say Florida State and what they did with Alabama.
Yeah.
Bama just looked disinterested, not prepared. I think Mike Norvell and his staff absolutely outclassed Kalen DeBoer. And then again, you just thinking about it while the game's going on. Gus Malzahn, OC, what has he done so much? Done so well in his prior tenures as a coach, beat Alabama. Now you gave him a whole offseason with a running quarterback that has historically really given Bama trouble. I mean, I feel like the proof was in the pudding the whole time, and we just didn't see it. So I think that was certainly that.
Trap game right out of the gate for Bama.
Yeah, I mean, and then you watching that game, Bama goes right down the field, and you're like, okay, it's not very good for Florida State. And then all of a sudden, Florida State just kind of found its way back into the game, and then eventually just put the hammer down and never looked back. So I'd say that one. And then, the statement LSU made defensively against Clemson, that was really big, I think, because that was the biggest question coming into the year, because you were good with Blake Baker as the DC. But I think you just need now to see the players go out there and execute, and they certainly made a statement on Saturday night.
And LSU needed to win that for the SEC.
For sure.
That was a game that the SEC needed LSU to win that game. All right, Gators beat reporter Hunter DeLauder. You can check out his excellent work.
I was going to say week 2.
Give me your game. Give me your game to watch.
So kind of a slow week this week, but Oklahoma and Michigan's going to be the big one.
Ranked on ranked.
Ranked on ranked.
Yeah, ranked on ranked.
John Mateer, Bryce Underwood, both quarterbacks looked really, really good.
That game's in Norman, right?
It's in Norman. Yeah. Saturday night game day will be there. So we'll see if Underwood, the freshman, can making his first road start as a college kid. So we'll see how he does, and then see if it could be an underrated quarterback battle for sure in this game.
Getting paid a lot of money by Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting paid a lot of money. Double figures if the rumors are true. That'll be a good game. I'm curious to see Bryce Underwood and see
that against that Venables-led defense for sure.
Going to be good. All right, Hunter, good stuff as always. You can check out his stuff over on WRUF.com. And we will see you right back here next week. We'll talk a little LSU and recap USF.
Sounds good.
All right, time for another quick break. But on the other side, we're going all in on fitness and motivation with a former UF alum. Fitness influencer, motivational speaker, author, race announcer. Fitz Kohler is here. Looking forward to chatting with her for the remainder of the hour. That's coming up next.
Gator Talk, live with Billy Napier and Sean Kelly at 7. Then, Cowboys-Eagles, NFL kickoff, 8 p.m. right here on WRUF.
Dave Mays Automotive, we get the bugs out of your car.
Hey, Steve Russell here. I've seen a lot of great sports teams in my day, but it's really hard to find a team that can sustain excellence over a long period of time. That's why what Dave Mays Automotive has done is so impressive. This year, they're celebrating their 50th year in business, and I can tell you, they've done a great job for me, just like they'll do for you. Brakes, AC, tires, oil changes, and so much more, including their famous bug check, where they go over your entire vehicle to ensure there's no unexpected problems down the road. Dave Mays Automotive is located at 2905 Northeast 19th Drive, in the industrial complex behind the Sunnies on Waldo Road, and online at DaveMaysAutomotive.com. Dave Mays Automotive. They get the bugs out.
Dave Mays Automotive, we get the bugs, all of them bugs, out of your car.
Get ready for an epic engagement event at International Diamond Center, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. IDC's flying in the entire collections, all the newest styles from both A. Jaffe and Veragio. Hundreds of new rings to choose from. A. Jaffe and Veragio, the world's 2 premier ring designers, together on the IDC stage with special incentives or zero-interest financing till 2028. At this event, see the entire collection from Simon G. Exquisite handcrafted rings from true artisans in California. And from New York, see the newest creations from A. Jaffe, creators of unique, meticulously designed bridal jewelry for over 130 years. Buy any A. Jaffe or Veragio ring at this event and get a $500 IDC gift card. Buy the entire engagement ring with matching wedding band and get a $1,000 gift card. Also, check out new fine jewelry from these renowned designers. Let the experts at IDC help you find both the perfect ring and the most dazzling diamond during this incredible 3-day event. Get the guaranteed best price up to $1,500 in savings or pay zero interest till 2028. It's September 12th, 13th, and 14th only, and only at International Diamond Center in Celebration Point on approved credit.
Friends, if somebody's been in business for 45 plus years, doesn't that tell you something? Trust, longevity. Well, that is the case with my friends at Southeast Car Agency in Gainesville. The Cousins family has operated that business for the past 45 plus years, and they specialize in just one thing. They give you the best alternative you have to purchasing a new vehicle, the best in late model, low mileage vehicles. Great variety, great selection. I'm driving one now, have been for years. Go see them today, Southeast Car Agency, 310 Northeast 39th Avenue, Gainesville.
From the UF Weather Center, here is your WRUF weather update.
Sunshine and much warmer today. Look for a high of 93 degrees this afternoon. Humidity still held in check, so that's why I'm not really going to throw in some afternoon showers. 72 for the overnight low tonight. Tomorrow, though, different story. A little bit more humidity in the air. 93. We'll have that heat index back up to about 96, and we'll feel a little on the stuffy side. From the WUFT Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller.
The Extra Point with Steve Russell. Saturdays after Gator football. Right here on WRUF, 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and anywhere in the world on the WRUF mobile app.
Welcome back to This Week in Gator Sports. Happy to have you along on this Friday Eve. And I'm happy to be joined by a very special guest for the rest of the hour. A former UF alum. She's a fitness expert, motivational speaker, author, race announcer. Her focus is all about helping others live longer, live stronger. Did I get that right?
Live better and longer, but longer and stronger is good too.
I'll let you have that one. You can have that one.
Thank you.
Welcome to the program, Fitz Kohler. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
No problem. I'm glad you're here. So, going over, finding you, I reached out to you, I found you and reached out to you, and I was like, wait a minute, what? There's a fitness influencer in Gainesville? Oh my goodness, I want to have this person on the show, I want to talk to them. And just kind of going over your story and seeing all the things that, that you've been able to do. You're a UF alum. The first thing I want to ask you about is there was a very interesting quote on your website. Can you just tell the audience about your love of Gainesville?
Yeah, so I am pure Gator, undergrad and grad school, and I view the University of Florida as my second marriage. This is permanent, and I'm committed wholeheartedly to this family. It's been one of the best things of my entire life. I have the blessing of traveling not only across America, but globally, and there's always a Gator, and the second we connect with each other, it's an instant, I would do anything for you, I love you, we're best friends, we're family, and you don't find that in many universities. I mean, this one is very meaningful, and I host an arsenal of interns every year, and I'm just very passionate about everything orange and blue, and I'm so proud. We've accomplished so much as a unit, and I don't know, makes my heart happy.
I knew, I mean, being in sports for as long as I was, I knew obviously about the University of Florida. Even being from Canada, I knew about the University of Florida. I knew about the head ball coach. All of those things are that goes up north as well. But I underestimated just the reach.
Oh yeah, it's iconic.
It is.
Yeah. I was in Copenhagen, Denmark, flying home many years ago, and in their shop, there's Gator paraphernalia at the little table, and I just thought, am I in the Twilight Zone? What's going on here? But that's how spectacular we are. And if I'm going to brag about anything, it's going to be the Gator Nation. And yeah, pretty cool stuff, right?
Well, a lot of people that I know in Canada who know me are like, "Oh, you're at the University of Florida?" Yeah. It's like, "Oh, I know that. The Gators. Yeah, Gators. Yeah." And so when I go home at Christmas time, I'm going to be educating some folks about what the reach of Gators is. So let's get into some fitness stuff with you, because you're a longtime, fitness influencer. And what's the core philosophy for you in terms of fitness and just expanding the knowledge of fitness?
Yeah, so fitness is remarkably simple. And, I'll sometimes start by saying I loathe the vultures in my industry. There's too many people that have made it complicated, that have lied to you, that have stolen from you, selling pills and nonsense. It's an industry full of vultures. But fitness really is very simple. It's watch what you put in your mouth, exercise often get some sleep. And with fitness, it's cardio, strength, flexibility, balance, period. It's the 4 pillars of fitness. It's pretty simple, stupid. If you explain those things to a reasonably intelligent person, they go, oh, really? And then I teach people how to eat the right amount of the right food for the size they personally want to be. It's called the exact formula for weight loss. It's mind-numbingly simple, and everybody could be exactly who they wanted to be with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of fitness knowledge. That's why I exist.
Fitness.
That's my, fitness.com.
Fitness.com. Great place to check out all kinds of great fitness information there. You created the Morning Mile, a school running and walking program. How did that initiative begin, and what impact have you seen in children's engagement in fitness?
Yeah, so when my kids were 3 and 5, they had a friend who was running before school. Just the opportunity to show up on the field and do laps, walk and run. And I kept thinking, that's a great idea. I wish my kids could do it. And this mom would brag to me about her kid running, and I'd think, I wish my kids could do that. And then finally, ding, 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 it went off that I wish all kids could do that. I mean, everything I do as a fitness professional is for mass impact. I don't do personal training. Everything I do is on a large scale. And I thought, wow, if I could get all the kids to walk or run before school, that would change not only their health, but their physical health, but their mental health. They'd be showing up at school on time. They sit still if they have their youthful willies out. They're more ready to learn once their brains are turned on. And so I created the Morning Mile. It's in over 400 schools worldwide.
Wow.
And the impact is extraordinary because we don't have 5 kids out on a field doing the Morning Mile. Many of our fields have hundreds of kids. So it's every child every day, plus their family, plus the faculty. Nobody gets charged. It's sponsored in advance by generous individuals or corporations. It's only $2,500 for the life of the program. So I've kept it so affordable, which allows so many schools to implement it. And it's probably one of the most important things I've ever done professionally.
How important is it to get fitness in there young?
Well, it's paramount, because if you look around, you have all of these 30-year-olds that have hit the oh crap stage, right? And it's never too late. But if you teach them young, and it's such, again, a mind-numbingly easy, simple, natural skill moving forward, and everyone can get out and go for a walk or a run, pressure-free. You can walk with a friend, you can walk with your dog, you can walk alone, or listen to ESPN radio, right?
WRUF.com.
You can do that when you're 5, when you're 10, when you're 25, when you're 50, when you're 90. It's just a very simple, stupid way of getting fit, and it's so impactful for the rest of each day and the rest of your life.
I recently read an article that it was a trainer talking about how walking is like so dismissed as one of the best ways to just get into some fitness.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It is grateful, and it's a thing we know how to do, right? If you have 2 functioning legs.
You don't need anything. You need shoes.
You don't need, or you could do it barefoot if you're Kenyan, right? If
Yeah.
you lost your mind and you're Kenyan and too cool for shoes. But yeah, if I had a kickboxing program at school, it probably wouldn't work very well, because you need skills and equipment, and people might be scared. If I did the same thing with CrossFit, it wouldn't go very far. But with walking and running, and I don't make anybody do any sort of distance. It's just a 30-minute window, and the kids can show up and go as slow or fast as they want. They can do 1 lap. They can do 4 miles, and many of them do. And so they feel comfortable, and they get it done. Yeah, so walking, it's a great start.
On top of fitness. So now you've got me saying it.
Fitness. Everybody together now.
That now. Yeah. On top of that, look, you've been the voice of major events like the Los Angeles Marathon, Fargo Marathon, Big Sur Marathon, and more. What's a memorable moment on the mic for you?
Oh, gosh. I mean, they're endless. So I travel about 30 weekends a year to announce massive road races. But my favorite part of any race is always the start line, because that's when we're all together. And so you take Los Angeles, for example, or Philadelphia Marathon, where I have 25 to 30,000 people in front of me. And, we spend an hour where I'm getting them informed, engaged, and entertained. But when I whip them into a frenzy before I yell go, and you've got 25,000 people jumping up and down, it's like having everyone in the swamp. Imagine if they were the athletes, So when our football team plays, there's 100 and something guys who are decked out in their uniforms. Imagine if the swamp was all the participants, the actual athletes. And then, I'm the ringleader of them. So I get them cranked up. And after I yell go, they start running by. And it's just, to me, it's like crack cocaine. I've never done drugs, but I imagine, because the energy that they come by waving at me and I'm waving at them. And there's so much exchange of energy and love. And it couldn't get any better. That's I don't know. I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted.
How did you get into that? I was reading about that, and I was like, I didn't even know that. I don't run marathons, so
right,
I don't know.
Right.
So educate me and educate others. Like, how does one get into that?
Yeah. So I was invited. I went the old-fashioned way, where someone says, "Hey, I think you'd be really good at this. Would you do this?" I was teaching. I was doing a lot of speaking for Walt Disney World, for their cast members and for their marathon, their running events, and their race announcer, he was stuck introducing me every time I spoke, and he kept saying, "Gosh, you're so energetic and people love you," and blah blah blah. And I'd say thank you, and eventually he said, "You know what, I think you'd make a great race announcer, and I need a co-host for the Orange County Marathon in California in a few months. Would you do it?" And I said, show me the ropes. And my first weekend, I think I had 30,000 athletes, and it went really well. So about an hour after yelling go for the first time, the race director invited me back for the next year. And then a few other race directors were there and said, "Hey, can you come do my events too?" And I make an event, an experience, because, with fitness, I have to do a lot of arm twisting, begging people to exercise. On race day, an event says, here's a whole bunch of people who want to exercise. Make sure they know what to do, know where to go, have a great time. And if I can make their experience top notch and make every last one of them, including the dead last finisher, feel like a champ, then they're more likely to do it again. And that really serves my mission as a fitness expert.
That's right. Be at the back. You'd be having to coax me across the line.
I'd get you there.
I might crawl, but I would certainly get there. Okay, so we've covered some fitness, we've covered the race announcing, but you're also an author. You're also someone who's, you've experienced life. Your memoir, My Noisy Cancer Comeback, chronicles your breast cancer journey while continuing your work as a race announcer and a fitness expert. So you're adding on to it essentially at this point. What inspired you to keep moving forward, literally, at that point?
Yeah, I went into robot mode once I was diagnosed. It was very scary. Cancer of any sort is terrifying. And I was in for a long road. I had 15 months of chemotherapy, which is rude, and 33 rounds of radiation and a few surgeries. So the whole thing was not a good time.
So you're doing all of this during treatment?
Correct. But here's the deal. I love what I do so much, and I'm sure you would feel the same way. Cancer was going to take my hair, fine, have it. It was going to take some of my good feelings, fine, but I was not letting it steal the career that I loved, that I had worked so hard to build. And so I declared it to be true. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to show up and do the work that I need to do. And I did. So it was awful doing the traveling, and I was beaten up by it. But here's the magic of having a career you're so passionate about. I would sleep on the hotel bathroom floor. It was bad. And I get out of my hotel and I drag myself over to the start line. And the second I stepped on the stage in front of those thousands of people, every single thing that was wrong with me disappeared. I wasn't sick. I wasn't suffering. I wasn't tired. I was fueled by human energy, and it was the best decision I had made. So as treatment progressed, showing up got harder and harder, but I never missed a race. I never missed a moment. I think I probably had more energy during my sick days than most healthy announcers have on their best days. And I didn't like having cancer. I can say I give it 0 stars. I don't recommend. 2 thumbs down.
Not recommend.
But if you're going to do it, keep your passions going and get out and make life as good as you can while you're fighting to survive.
And I think you make a great point about having a passion.
Yeah. Right?
The passion is, if you're doing something that you're passionate about, then really, there's not a lot that's going to stop you. Well, you're going to continue to try and do it.
Well, you should. And if you're not, then all you are is a sick person.
Right.
that would not have been acceptable to me in any way, shape, or form. And so, I took the bald head on the road. And the reason I wrote the book, I wasn't telling everybody. I mean, people knew I was sick and they knew I was, had cancer, but I never told anybody how sick I was or what was going on. And so there was a lot of behind the scenes things that were going on as I traveled and had IV fluids in hotels, and all of these wacky things would happen. And I kept thinking people would get a kick. Like, people would laugh if they knew what was going on. And I thought maybe I'd tell the tale in my podcast, or I'd write an article. And then finally it just got so intense with kind of hilarious experiences that I thought, people get a kick out of this. I need to write the book. And that's why I wrote my Noisy Cancer Comeback.
Well, it's I mean, if you can find some humor in it,
I got to.
That's the important thing, to keep you moving.
Yeah, you got to.
We're going to take a break here on This Week in Gator Sports, but when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Fitz Kohler. We'll be back after this.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Nate Bilgeray. We're 2 days away from Florida's second dance in the swamp this season. To round out their opening homestand, they take on a surging USF. South Florida handled the previously ranked 25th Boise State Broncos in Week 1 on the shoulders of an outstanding performance from QB Byron Brown.
I do think this quarterback runs the ball well. I think there's a little bit more read game, a little more quarterback run element to it, but still vertical, still tempo, still perimeter screen, and then a good healthy run game. When you got a light box, you got to be able to handle that. So it's
was head coach Billy Napier on Brown's abilities. Gator soccer also prepares for an in-state showdown as they host Florida Gulf Coast tonight in the Diz. This is one of Florida's final 2 non-conference matches before they begin SEC play.
The wait is over. Miapa Latin Cafe is now open in the heart of Alachua. For over 13 years, Miapa has been serving up authentic Cuban flavor to the greater Alachua area. And now we're moving into a bigger, better space right across the street from our previous Alachua location. That means a bigger parking lot, more seating, and yes, a drive-thru for your cafecito fix on the go. We couldn't have done it without you. Miapa is deeply grateful to the community for years of support, love, and loyalty. This move is a celebration of you, our customers, neighbors, and friends. Miapa has been a part of Alachua County since 2003, and with 6 locations strong in Gainesville, Jonesville, and Alachua, we're proud to bring you the ultimate Cuban culinary experience. Miapa Latin Cafe. Authentic Cuban food, real community flavor.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call us for free information at 1-800-558-5497. Again, 1-800-558-5497.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is a special type of place for Gator fans and fans of great food, which is why we made every day special. Join us on Martini Tuesdays for half off our handcrafted martinis and wine Wednesdays, where you can enjoy a bottle of wine for 50% off. On Old Fashioned Thursdays, indulge in our selection of 8 classic old-fashioned cocktails. And of course, don't forget Sunday brunch. And now you can look special in some of our great merchandise, available at the restaurant or online at Spurriers.com. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the hottest restaurant in Florida in the heart of Gator Nation.
This is the Gator Football Report, brought to you by UF Health. At UF Health, we believe human progress has no finish line. Visit humanprogress.ufhealth.org to learn more. And by Wells Fargo, official retail bank of the Florida Gators. Sean Kelly returns with today's report after this.
My husband Steve was diagnosed with prostate cancer. They only gave him months to live. That was years ago. Now, he's out there, under the tree. Nature photography is his thing. And apparently, so is catching poison ivy.
Oof, so itchy. UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Hey Gator Nation!
Nation, this is Vicki Brown-Worski, Director of Gators and Pal Herd. As the Bank of Doing and official sponsor of Florida Athletics, Wells Fargo is supporting our student athletes on and off the field with interactive financial health curriculum and empowerment resources. Wells Fargo has a game plan for the full student athlete experience from their first semester on campus through graduation. Learn more about what Wells Fargo is doing to put people and communities first by visiting wellsfargo.com/impact.
The Florida Gators will play 2 in-state foes in 2 of the next 3 weeks and starts Saturday at 4:15 when USF comes to town. 4th overall meeting between the Gators and the Bulls. Florida is 3-0 all time against this team from Tampa. The last meeting was a nail-biter, 2022. The Gators won a shootout, 31-28. And now the Bulls come to town 1-0 on the season, fresh off a win over number 25 Boise State. They're led by Bryson Brown, a quarterback who missed all of last year due to injury, and he brings a lot to the table. Head coach Billy Napier.
Offensively, it starts with the quarterback. He's a dual threat. And then there's an element of tempo, and then there's some unique speed outside. So I do think that this is similar to the Tennessee blueprint that we faced in the past. Obviously, Coach Gold's experience there.
To give you an idea of that tempo, on a 40-second play clock, USF wants to snap the ball before the clock hits 32. Sean Kelly reporting for the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Jeff Cardozo. Today at 4, tune in for the tailgate with myself and Pat Dooley, right here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, your home for Gator Sports.
Welcome back to This Week in Gator Sports. We are here with fitness expert, motivational speaker, author, race announcer. Fitz Kohler is with us as we continue our conversation.
I like that you keep throwing out my credentials each time you introduce me. I think I'm going to ask people to do that wherever I go now.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's like it's broadcast style.
I am
You've
fitness
earned,
expert,
you've
author.
earned all of these. You've earned all of these.
That's right.
Right? You should be putting it out there. You've
I
earned
should.
all that.
You're right.
I want to make sure that you're, people giving you your flowers.
I think I need it when I walk in my house, too. My kids are going to have to do some sort of intro thing. Or the dogs. Whatever. We'll work on that.
They're always happy to see you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking before we went to the break about your book. And it's one book of 5.
Yeah.
You've got a 5th book coming out. What? Okay, so first let's talk about this book. And what is it that resonates with you about a 5th book that's also going to resonate with the audience?
Okay, so I'm going to do the big reveal here. Nobody knows the title of the book. Do you want to hear it? It's very exciting.
You're going to reveal it on WRUF?
Here we go.
Okay, tell me.
Drum roll. It is You Supercharge, the exact formula for fitness, weight loss, and longevity.
I love it.
Thank you. I love it too.
Love it.
Yeah, so any grown-up who wants to get in shape, lose weight, whether you want to have ripped abs, there's guidance for you in there, or you just want to take off 20 pounds, there's guidance for you. If you want to sleep better, if you want to have a better social circle, if you want to improve your mental health, if you want to grow old and be independent, right? If you don't want to have a caretaker, you don't want to be thrown in a home, I've got solutions for you. You want to raise fit kids? It's in there. If you want to raise fit dogs, it's in there. It's You Supercharge. It's all about you, but better.
I love it. I love it. And when we were in the break, we were talking about I was explaining to you, my younger brother and I are in a race to 100, trying to get to 100.
Totally attainable.
And that there was a book that I had read certainly about that. And it sounds like, you're going to be offering practical tips. Somebody told me a long time ago, tell me whether or not this is true, but somebody told me a long time, this was years and years and years ago. And it kind of flipped a switch for me in terms of fitness and staying healthy. But what you do today reflects 15, 20 years down the line.
Well, of course. And we start off where, none of our Gator football players could be here if they didn't start out in Little League and middle school. It's a building process. And since age tends to take away, you have to really combat that by putting in the effort more and more each day as the days go on. So if you're 50 and you're saying, I'm old, I can't, get a freaking grip. You're not old. You're lying to yourself. Your excuses suck. And you're going to wither away at some point. So instead, fight like hell. Make strength training the pillar of fitness you pursue most. And that's your total body, not just your biceps, not just your big, sexy booty. It's all the muscles that will help you stand up, sit down, carry the groceries, hold your head up. Heads are heavy, right? So strength is vital. Cardiovascular fitness, flexibility, balance. You know, if you don't have good balance, you're going to hit the ground a bunch, and that's eventually going to be the death of you, right? So we have a lot of power. Man, folks, you have to control what you can when you can. And when it comes to your health, you have an incredible amount of control, and it doesn't take a wild, weird amount of effort. It just takes working to get 1% better each day in an intelligent way.
Flexibility is something that is a core of kind of what I do with fitness. Good. Because of because flexibility as you get older, it's so much harder.
Well,
it gets so much harder. Even when I'm doing stretches that I did when I was playing football that were not a problem. Now I'm like, oh my God, this is not easy anymore.
Right. It's a building process. And again, age is going to try to take. So, you know, if you are going to become a sick person, would you rather start off as John Cena or Pee Wee Herman? Right? We start off as John Cena. Fair. Make yourself as strong and fit as humanly possible. So when the hard days come or age starts to take its effect, you're regressing far more slowly because you're such a fit person. Now, of course, Cena is a big example, but you get where I'm going with this, right?
I get what you're going with this. All right, well, listen, the music's coming on, so that means they're playing us out. They're playing us out. Fitz Kohler, happy to have you with us. Fitness expert, motivational speaker, author, race announcer.
Visit me at Fitzness and fitzness.com. I'll be looking for all your listeners. We can say hi.
And new book coming out
we can be besties.
October.
Yes,
take a look at that. Sports Lab is coming up next. The fellas have got their white coats on. And they are ready to talk a little sports. That'll do it for this week in Gator Sports. For all of us here at WRUF, I'm Jeremy St. Louis. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
Go Gators.
Your home for Sunday Night Football all season long. WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM, and 103.7 HD2.
Hi, this is Dr. Art Mowry of Exceptional Dentistry.